Hello, Color the Wise. Welcome to the Fortress of Bad Gaming Decisions, where we have another PS Plus Premium review of the game Moonlighter. As always, do not forget to comment, like, subscribe, and stay wise, everyone. Will this roguelike game destroy my life, or will I end up enjoying it like Stardew Valley? Stay tuned. Alright, so you're probably asking me, hello, what's Moonlighter about? Well, one, it's a roguelike game, which means it's like Dead Cells, Cult of the Lamb, or those games are like this game. I guess Dead Cells was first, but it's like a roguelike 2D bit from above kind of game. You die, you lose all your progress, yada yada yada. But this one has a little bit of a twist. You are something called a Moonlighter. You're the only one able to go into these dungeons, and you're trying to open up what they call the fifth door, which is the fifth dungeon door. Nobody knows what's behind it, but you own a little shop that you sell all your stuff to. Thus, you are a merchant in this game, so it takes a little bit of Stardew Valley, and a little bit of dungeon crawl and die and repeat, and kind of lumps it together in a weird, mixed up fashion. So that's pretty much what the game's about, and you adventure through the dungeons. Now, gameplay, right? You're probably like, what kind of... If you played Cult of the Lambs, which will be on the top... I always get this mixed up because it's switched for me, but top right of the screen for you to see the Cult of the Lambs card to go click on it, because that would be my personal recommendation if you wanted to play this kind of game, because the Cult of the Lambs isn't as unforgiving as this game when it comes to combat. So this game, now we're at the gameplay part of the video, right? Gameplay here... You have a roll, you have a dodge, gets you out of stuff, you have a little attack button, you have a block button, right? But the attack button is very unforgiving, because if you're not directly facing the person, like, you're not going to hit them. And the roll is also a little unforgiving, and you don't have any magical powers. But the only thing I do give it over some of the current roguelike dungeon crawlers of this thing is that once you get this little pendant thing, which I don't have in this film, but it's part of the video, but when you have this pendant thing, you can leave dungeon whenever you want, take all your stuff out, because you have a backpack with limited resources, and you can only hold so many things before you have a full backpack. And then the whole point of the game is to go collect all the stuff, get the keys. But as you're doing it, you're supposed to upgrade the town and upgrade the shop of what you own, and you're supposed to sell the items that you get. Use those same items for crafting and forging of potions and weapons and armor. So you have to, and then it just isn't just simple. It isn't just simple like that. But the gameplay is basic. You have fight, dodge, roll. It's unforgiving, and I believe the game asks you to play the game on hard mode, so it's too easy otherwise. So now you're really pondering, and you're probably like, hey, what do you mean you open up a shop? You literally own a merchant shop. You open a door, as you can see, and all these people come in, and they look at your prices, and they go, oh, the blasphemy of how pricey it is, or, oh, what a deal, what a steal. And then you sell stuff. So I think this day I made $1,400, because I just, legit, what you do is you go at night, you go get all the dungeon stuff, you come back, you sell it all. Problem is, you gotta make it through the dungeon. So if you're too greedy, you effed up. If you're not too greedy when you leave dungeon, you don't have no money. So that's a fun thing. Also, if you flood the market with materials, the price goes down. Thus, price demand. You got no stocks and stuff like that. But overall, this part of the game is fun, manageable, but you really gotta sit in your shop. So don't expect to do much other than that. And now you're probably asking, like, what do you mean you upgrade the town? Well, you literally take your gold and you upgrade the town. Like right now, I'm buying a forge, Vulcan's Forge, and I'm buying the witchcraft place. That's where you make weapons and potions. But don't get it twisted. That weapon guy is expensive. A sword is four gold, 4,000 gold, 4,000 gold. And you know what's crazy? I only got 700 after this, and then you keep dying. You never make no money. You're just like, ooh. Ooh, it's hard. Potion is a little bit more reasonable price, but it's gonna be. I can see how this could be taxing to try to get everything up and running with the amount of values it is. But that's just a fun mechanic part of the game, upgrading the town. And now you're probably wondering, hey, how do dungeons work? well, dungeons are door by door, room by room. If you played Cult of the Lambs, it's very similar. Again, I'll put the card up on the top right of the screen for you to click on it so you can see my Cult of the Lambs video. I personally think it's a better version of this. Obviously, it should be because Cult of the Lambs came out this year and this game came out in 2018, so they probably learned from it. But side note, I digress. There's doors. You take the doors into the room. You can backtrack into previous rooms. You gotta make sure you don't die. You live. You have inventory. It's very limited, so you have to pick what you want to pick. You can take stuff and put it in that little mirror thing, and it junks it for gold. So every room, then you can either choose to fight the people for the resources or just go through the door, which is pretty cool because sometimes it's almost impossible to kill these things. They want you to kill with the little sword I got, but I can't get a new sword because I can't make enough money because I keep dying in this game. Now, this is all piece notes that he left throughout the dungeon. So, that's something to keep an eye out on as well. But, pretty much, that is the combat. You just fight, you crawl through a dungeon. There's a mini boss, right? And then there's a big boss. So, it's important that when you see those fountain things, that means that the boss fight's happening. And you gotta fight the boss. Also, fun fact, you can't use potions while in a fight. You can only use potions outside of a fight. So if you have potions, you can't use them until the fight's over. So like right now, you can hit triangle, open up the menu, get out the potions, and heal before you go to the next room. Now, I don't know how long dungeons actually are. I just do know that they're lengthy. They're very lengthy, and they're not short. And as for in the first dungeon you fight against, it is not short. Now, this little gel thing really got the best of me. I'm not gonna lie, it was like whooping me up. But the game mechanics are, like I said earlier, it's a dungeon crawling game with the mechanics for combat aren't very forgiving. So if you miss or you're not facing that way, it ain't hitting. And then the weapon you get at the beginning of the game isn't the best weapon. So, ooh, I almost died of this thing. And then there's a bunch of different enemy varieties, at least in this stage, from what I can see. But you also get a shield. I just never use it, but you get a shield. And then if you die or you go into a pit, you lose your sword or your shield. Saying you're running around trying to punch the crap out of people, trying to find your weapons again. So keep that in mind. Like right now, my sword's gone. Gone. Disappeared. Bampuska. Rambuska. So I'm crawling through. I think I fought my first boss already. We have to fight the second one. So again, you can go through certain doors, figure out, like, see this one, I don't have to fight these people, but I chose to because actually I didn't choose to. Now that pool is a heal pool, but when you jump in you lose weapon, but that means at the next door, see, I got a heal right here, boom, can only heal when you're out of combat. When you go in this door, I have to fight this golem. I really thought, actually, yeah, I really thought I was gonna beat him. Really did. But then got 2 lucky hits on me. But other than that, I would have whooped him. I was whooping him. So at any moment during this fight, I could have held circle down and ran away from the fight. But I ain't no wuss. I ain't no wussy. Right, Clover Puppy? I ain't no wussy. So this guy ultimately beats me and I die. So that's pretty much what the first dungeon bosses look like. So keep an eye out for that. But right here, boom, got me. And I was just so frustrated, like, oh! And then you can choose to start back to the beginning or go back down. I obviously chose to start again because I'm stubborn, thinking I'm going to beat it, not realizing that I don't have my weapon. So I'm over here trying to punch people. It goes, bah, 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 bah. 1-2 punch, 1-2 punch. So if you lose your weapon due to dying, you're stuck without it. You're probably thinking, well, what happened if you go back down and sell stuff? Well, again, remember, like I told you, the blacksmith guy sells swords for $1,000 for the sword you just had and $4,000 for a better sword. So keep that in mind. And we're back and we're done. We're done. We made it to the end, everybody. We made it to the end. Moonlighter, definitely just gonna get off and play Cult of the Lambs, as always, will be up there on the card. And then, you know, that's just what it is. And don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and stay wise, everyone. Moonlighter is not where it's at. It's too unforgiving with combat, too hard, and it's when you die, you're savagely punished for it. So, as always, stay wise and stay tuned for more wise reviews.